Good evening, everyone. This is good old Snakebite Bill. Wait, Deadly Snakebite. I had to get that correct. Tonight, I am doing this presentation because I want to share some things with you that some of them have stuck with me for the past 55 years. I don't know, everyone should know by now. If they don't, I spent 9 years in the Marine Corps and I fought for 13 months in Vietnam. I carry a lot of survivor's guilt. And sometimes it's a tough thing to have on your back because it's a little different than PTSD. I was exposed to a lot of things that a 21-year-old shouldn't have seen. I did things a 21-year-old should not have done. But we did our job and we came home. And fortunately, a few years ago, I got to attend 7 weeks of therapy, and it involved the practice of radical acceptance. Now, radical acceptance is a mindful approach to pain which prevents suffering. It's mindfulness at its best. It's meditation. It's being at peace with yourself so that you can be at peace with the world. That was a very difficult thing for me. I'm now 76 years old, and I think that I have found peace. Now, there's a PhD by the name of Tara Brach who has written, lots of books. She's done, I think like 80, oh no, more than that, YouTube videos. But her take is radical acceptance is the willingness to experience ourselves and our lives as it is. All right. There's these two signs you see here, which I actually put these on shiny paper and printed them and took them to the group with it, and they hung them on the wall, and they're still there, I guess. But don't wait for things to get easier, simpler, better. Life will always be complicated. Learn to be happy right now. Otherwise, you will run out of time. I don't want to run out of time. I was diagnosed 4 years ago with Parkinson's disease. Really bothers me because it reduces a healthy person's lifespan by 5 to 15 years. I don't want to run out of time. I want to enjoy my life, and I want to change whatever needs to be changed. And it's one reason I'm doing YouTube videos and podcasts is to share whatever pearls of wisdom I can come up with other folks. And then there's the other sign. When thinking about life, remember this. No amount of guilt can solve the past, and no amount of anxiety can change the future. That is a fact. I have 50 years experience at that. Now, nothing is wrong. Whatever is happening is just real life. That's a fact. Radical acceptance is when you stop fighting reality, stop responding with impulsive or destructive behaviors when things aren't going the way you want them to, and let go of bitterness that may be keeping you trapped in a cycle of suffering. Accepting reality is difficult when life is painful. Yes, it is. No one wants to experience pain, disappointment, sadness, or loss. No, you don't. I've lost two of my three sons on separate occasions. But those experiences are a part of life. When you attempt to avoid or resist those emotions, you are adding suffering to your pain. You may build the emotion bigger with your thoughts or create more misery by attempting to avoid the painful emotions. You can stop suffering by practicing acceptance. And real quickly, acceptance comes to you by mindfulness. Mindfulness is actually knowing what's going on around you and being grateful that you're still here to experience it. Now, this is another Tara Brach quote. On this sacred path of radical acceptance, rather than striving for perfection, we discover how to love ourselves into wholeness. There was a movie that Bill Murray was in, and I think it was in Nepal or somewhere, and a monk told him, the path to salvation is narrow. Yes, it is. And the path to radical acceptance can be narrow as well. Then we get into mindfulness, and there are lots of meditations actually that Tara Brach does that are on YouTube. All right, this is another quote of hers. I am a big fan of Tara Brach, in case you hadn't figured it out. Perhaps the biggest tragedy of our lives is that freedom is possible, yet each day we listen to inner voices that keep our life small. Think about it. All right. There's something wonderfully bold and liberating about saying yes to our entire imperfect and messy life. Wow. That is cool. Now, the one on the right here is on the refrigerator. Practicing radical acceptance has been shown to reduce feelings of shame, guilt, and anxiety. Acceptance coping skills are linked to lower rates of mental illness and suicide. Radical acceptance can reduce distress in dealing with negative thoughts or events. What would it be like if I could accept life, accept this moment exactly as it is? Tara Brach once again, radical acceptance is embracing your life with the heart of a Buddha. And here's a Chinese proverb that I need stamped on my forehead, actually. And then I'll carry a mirror around so I can read it. If the problem has a solution, why are you worried about it? If the problem has no solution, why are you worried about it? That makes a lot of sense, folks. A lot of sense. Now, everything will be okay. Coping amidst the storm of anxiety and depression. And Michael J. Fox, who has had Parkinson's now 20 years, he's doing very well for 20 years, but he has had a lot of resources, and he has said so. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It means understanding that something is what it is, and there's got to be a way through it. Now, I slipped somewhat. I fell from grace on the path of radical acceptance. But I have found my way back. You really can have peace in your heart, soul, and mind if you accept what's happening around you. Now, observe that you are fighting against reality. The reality is it shouldn't be like this, but you are fighting against it. Acknowledge that something led to this moment. This is how it happened. Practice acceptance with not only your mind, but your body and spirit. Be mindful of your breath, posture, and use skills like half smiling and willing hands. List what your behavior would look like if you did accept the facts, then act accordingly. Plan ahead with events that seem unacceptable, and think about how you should appropriately cope. Remain mindful of physical sensations throughout your body, such as tension or stress. That is a big one. Tension or stress. Embrace feelings such as disappointment, sadness, or grief. Acknowledge that life is worth living even when there might be temporary pain. And if you find yourself resisting, complete a pros and cons exercise to better understand the full impact of your choice. There is a lot more to radical acceptance, and I will undoubtedly do another one. And before I sign off, I'm going to take off my glasses because I usually don't wear them. And now I want everybody to radically accept how good Snakebite Bill looks tonight. As us Marine Corps helicopter guys say, Semper Fi.